and the show goes on. Just press that crankshaft in out of that flywheel right there, but first kind of keep account of our parts that we're finding in this engine and the extremes to both ends of the spectrum as far as wear is concerned. This collar that goes on this here governor sleeve, what with this, it would be right in here, and I have taken a good many of these apart. This one, you can tell it was in use, but it has no measurable amount of wear on either side. It's as good of brass collar out of one of these that I have ever encountered. It's just, there is no wear pattern whatsoever on it. It baffles the mind. It baffles the mind, because some parts are worn quite badly. This is the governor collar that was actually on this engine, and as you can see, that hole there is worn. Measuring from the center of that hole over to the wear pattern on this part, it's that's a ½ inch that this part here is worn in a keyhole shape. So you know why the question is, and it could be that the operator oiled this part, the brass part right in there. He could over oil that and neglected to oil the oil hole here, and this is rusted so bad that I am going to run this through the electrolysis tank to clean it. I would like to use it on this engine, but it will be a cleaned part, and there's no, I've not scraped around on it, but there's no paint that I can see on this part right here. But at any rate, we'll clean that up and use it. The weights came out, and I am going to try to keep them as is with no cleaning whatsoever. Save what paint we got. The arms right there, they're in good shape. They'll clean up quite nicely. Once I got the other one apart and got the Justin shims out, they are rusted. Well, they won't be used again. They're just rusted too bad. And with that said, the crankshaft that we sawed off, if you remember, was in this flywheel right here. And so what I done, this being it, and what I done is the crankshaft. I'll explain it to you one more time. The crankshaft was in this flywheel like that, in this part, and when I pressed it out, and you press it from the back side so that the gib key will free itself up, and as you can observe, hopefully, the way this gib key was cut off is someone took a hacksaw and they sawed that gib key in two, and part of the crankshaft, enough to where that the gib key would come away. And then it appears to me that they took a punch and they drove this remaining key in a little bit past where the saw mark is. The end of the key is a little further that way, so they did tighten it up after it was sawed off, to the point where they braided that up in a mushroom shape. Oh, it's very bad, very, very bad, very bad. Just I can't stress that enough. And it's so tight. This is so tight into this crankshaft here, and I didn't dig it out. Probably should. And let's see, can we get it out? that's in there tight. Okay, put it on a hard object over there and it came loose. But you see it coming out. Oh, that is very, very, very bad. Very bad. Just if you have an engine, don't resort to that, please. But the gib key now is out. Was in there really, drove in there really, really tight. Well, so much for that. Let's get this another crankshaft. Oh, and let me tell you something else. Wait a minute. Hold the presses. The question, the controversy is so often the subject of discussion, argument, let's say, is penetrating fluid, penetrating oil, penetrating whatever you call it. The myriad of brands of penetrating fluids. And if you can observe on this shaft that I just pressed out of there, and it required some poundage to press it out, but it was not excessive force to press this out. And even with that, you can see a great section, and I did use PB Blaster on this, been soaking it for some time. You know, from what time we've been started on this, you have been witness to it. And but let's just kind of drawing you a picture. Oh, there's a great section right here, great section on this crankshaft that is completely dry. So you know a lot, and I didn't use no heat. Don't never confuse that we used some heat on this. No heat was used at all. The observation, and it's dry right there. No sign of no penetrating fluid at all on this shaft, and there was none inside this crankshaft center either. So I do question if it works. I mean, I'm going to use it. Believe me, I'm going to put penetrating oil on things, but just how much it works, I'm going to leave that. And I have found out, if I may just kind of throw another observation in here. I have tried every brand of penetrating oil that has been suggested, concoctions that you would not believe, and I find that there's no way to test the two products against each other. Just like this situation right here, I've pressed it out now, so I could not compare another brand of penetrating fluid with the brand that I used. There's just you cannot compare two brands of penetrating oil on a rusted stuck shaft, because there's no two identical. You will, in my observations, let's say, will never be two that are stuck equally. So leaving you with that, let's get on with the show.